And a pleasant good evening to you and yours, and welcome to the Brevard Sports Network. It is that time of the year again, the 2023 Brevard Sports Network High School Football Coaches Show number 1. And we've got a really good lineup of coaches here tonight. Leading off tonight will be Chris Sands from Eau Gallie. We're going to meet Billy Miller from Bayside tonight. We're also going to meet, well, we already know him, Brian Helton from Satellite in his second year, the reigning BSN Coach of the Year in John Holmes. Also, David Kintigh is here, and you're going to hear from Logan Hallock as well. Now, Logan is not here, and he's got a very good reason for that. He's off getting married. But 9 years ago, at about this time, myself, Steve Wilson, Orville Susong with the Friday Night Locker Room, I was invited to this gala at Beef O'Brady's in Cocoa to do a sit-in on a coach's show. And the guy sitting to my right was there and did a hell of a job that night, and he has ever since then. And I can't tell you what an honor it is to have him officially a part of Brevard Sports Network, and especially a part of what we're doing here tonight at the Coach's Show. Please help me welcome, and it's good to say this again, my partner in crime, Anthony Knockrider.
Alan, it's great to be here. I'm excited to get to do another Coach's Show. And you know what? I'll be honest, man. I was surprised when I made the announcement yesterday, just the response that I got from everybody. All my Montana people were chiming in as well, which was great. So I'm excited. I'm ready to rock and roll. I know I've met some of the coaches. Coach Kintigh has already given me a little flack for not stopping by Melbourne High's campus, which is great.
As he should. As he should.
I'm excited, man. And I know it's only July 18th? You know, we still got a couple weeks before camp, and, you know, we got, probably about a month before – actually, a month to kick off Classic.
Classic's right.
So, but I'm excited, man. This is going to be fun.
And you'll notice Knox got the BSN shirt on. That's what really makes him official. All right, let's bring in our first coach here tonight. Let's make sure he's got the headset to get – he's taller than me and Knox put together. Please help me welcome, my goodness gracious, 6th year head football
like
coach.
20 years.
Chris Sands from Eau Gallie. And, Coach, welcome back to the Coach's Show. How's your summer been?
Really busy, obviously with football stuff and everything, but, managing time with family and friends and just trying to take one day at a time. But it's been really good, really productive with our program, so we're excited for this fall.
Coach, how good did it feel last year to get back on that winning mark, winning 7 of 11 last year, getting back into the playoffs? This young football team really started to do some really, really nice things and gel. Pull that a little bit closer there. And gel a little bit as the midway point and then down the stretch as well.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't good enough, that's for sure, because, at the end of the day, that's not our goal, is just to go to the playoffs. We want to win games and win the state title. But again, it's good because we are really young. We're still really young. That whole 25 class, everyone thought I was crazy about playing as freshmen, are now going to be juniors. So they were sophomores last year. And so now we're just excited for the progress of them and for just the production. And again, last year was a good year, but we're not trying to be good around where we are. We're trying to be great. So again, we're excited for this fall.
Coach, the thing that impressed me about your football team last year was its youth. And, to build on that youth, first of all, they have to grow up off the field and on the field. As a football coach, when you have a team as young as you've had the last couple of years, how do you see to that? Because that's a lot of student athletes that were young on that team last year.
Yeah, it's hard. And to be honest, it's hard because we got guys coming from everywhere. We got, with the whole transfer stuff and guys being able to play where they want, we got guys from Cocoa, we got guys from Palm Bay, obviously we got guys from Melbourne. So it's just kind of bringing all the cultures together, and especially with 16, 17-year-old kids, you got to develop some discipline and develop some just organization for these kids. And again, our guys are a year older and a year better, hopefully. And again, it's an exciting time for us, but we're just taking one day at a time and working hard every day.
Well, Coach, how was your summer workouts in terms of participation? Did you feel like you got 95% of your guys in just about every day in the weight room?
Yeah, it's really good. Our numbers have been good the last couple of years. And again, our guys know the end goal in our program is to go to college. So they need to learn how to lift. They need to learn how to be there on time. They need to learn how to have a summer program. So our guys buy into it and do usually a really good job, and this summer is no different.
And then, Coach, just talk about that for a second. The last couple of years, it feels like every summer there's something new with strength and conditioning. So for you and the way you run your program, how much has that changed from year to year?
It changes daily almost. We're lucky enough to have Manny Larice run our summer program. He actually owned presea sports facility when he was here in Melbourne. So we're talking the top of the line guy that's trained NFL guys that are training our high school kids. So we're lucky enough to have him around us and putting our guys through the gauntlet every single day. And again, the summers, the workout stuff change every day, but at the end of the day, everything's the same. If you work hard, if you condition, if you lift weights, if you do anything, you're going to get stronger, you're going to get faster, you're going to get more flexible, and that's ultimately the goal in the summer.
Coach, we can sit here all day and talk about your players and the numbers and this, that, and other, but I know that the thing that you like to do the most is to put young men in college. And I as I'm looking at the numbers here, in the 9 years that you have done this, Coach, nearly 70 student athletes you've helped graduate to play the next level. At Eau Gallie alone, nearly 40, and I don't have the exact number, but nearly 40 to play college football. Coach, that's impressive. Congratulations on that. And I know the clock continues to turn, and you got a couple of more guys this year that are going to be big-time college football players.
Yeah, we have a couple committed right now, too. Everyone talks about the non-committable and the committable, and so we got guys committed. And at the end of the day, all that stuff is fluff. When signing day comes in February and in December, what are you doing? Who do you have on the stage? Who is walking on the schools or who is signing a scholarship? And that's what we're about. We want guys to sign scholarships, to go to college for free. We got a guy committed to Florida State right now, a guy committed to Oregon. We have the number 3 D tackle in the country. We got guys. And at the end of the day, it's not about winning games on Friday night. It's not about rah-rah in December. It's about what are you going to do to get these kids out of Brevard County. And I think we do a good job doing that.
And, Coach, you just talked about that. You got a guy that's ranked number 3 in the country. How do you try and keep these guys that are committed to Florida State and Oregon? That's a huge opportunity. But also kind of keep them grounded in the fact that it is their senior season to also enjoy that process.
Well, they're not seniors, which is the funny thing.
Yeah, my bad.
But, yeah, no, they know why they're at Eau Gallie. We're not naive about why we have kids at our school. They go to school at Eau Gallie to go to college and play college football. So the work ethic, the grind, the reason of waking up every day and going to class and working hard in the weight room is because they want to be successful at the next level, and that's what we take pride in.
You look, Coach, I had the great fortune last year to sit down and bring Sandman and Redman Thompson into the studios, and I will get them back. Caleb's working on it now, but to get them both back in the studios again, tell us about Sandman and his progression as you've seen him come up. It's incredible what he's done.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the 8 that started for us when they were freshmen. Probably one of the hardest working kids I've been around in my career. The kid wrestled just to help him with football, ended up being a state qualifier his freshman year. Just bought into why he was coming to Eau Gallie every day. He wanted to go play college football. The kid has 25 offers. Obviously, he chose to play college ball at Oregon. But I mean, every single day I get my phone hidden off the wall trying to get that kid because he's so good. He's not overly tall. He's not overly big. He's just a great kid. And he's a great football player. And when you get a guy in the interior line that's doing that, you're gonna be a good team if you have a guy to build around like him.
We're here with Chris Sands, the head football coach, 6th-year head football coach for the Eau Gallie Commodores. And Coach, I guess my next question for you would be, as you look at your football team this year, going into camp, where are you pretty much set? What are you satisfied with?
I'm never satisfied, obviously. I'm satisfied with the experience we have. Not seniors. I think I only have 3 seniors that have played significant downs for us, and I think only 6 total on the team. But we have a lot of experience coming back, whether it's a transfer kid or whether it's kids that have been in the program. We played a lot of varsity downs, and we're expecting some big things out of the kids we have.
Coach, talking about that, only 6 seniors there. Where are you finding the leadership, and how are you seeing that develop?
Well, a kid like Sandman, he's been a captain since his freshman year. I mean, we don't go off seniority or anything like that. We want to find guys that lead our program, and kids in our program like Delvonte Williams and Sandman Thompson. Those guys lead our program, and so the leadership stuff needs to come from our elite. And whether just leading by example or doing the rah-rah stuff, whatever it is, but we need guys that do the right thing. And those couple guys do that, and that's what we look for in leadership.
Coach, you did lose an outstanding defensive guy in Billy Miller, who's the new Bayside head football coach, and we'll talk to Coach Miller coming up. Tell us about your coaching staff this year.
Yeah, we're blessed. As you know, we basically kept the same staff my whole career at Eau Gallie. Obviously, here or there, one or two coaches. I am lucky enough, and thank God that Astronaut made the biggest mistake they can ever think, and Justin Warden's on my staff. He's been a blessing. I got guys like Marquise Ramos and Trent Guy have been with me since day one, and all these guys have been with me. But the addition to Justin, man, it's a shame that he's not head coach in this county, and I will take him with me and ride to the sunset as long as I can, because that guy is a unbelievable coach and an unbelievable person to be around kids, and we're blessed that they made a mistake. And
he knows the game. Unbelievable.
Justin has over 60 wins as a head coach. I mean, that's more than me.
He's
he is a coach, and we're happy to have him around our staff.
That's good to hear, because I didn't know where he had went, so that's good to know.
Coach, real quick, as we get ready for camp here in a couple weeks, where's a position battle that you're really happy with, because there's a bunch of guys competing at a high level to just be the starter for that position?
Yeah, I mean, I think everywhere, but when you look at a football team, everyone looks at the quarterback position. We have some guys battling for that. We have a transfer in that's going to be a huge impact for us. That's really going to help. So we're just going to compete. And so I know your wheels are turning right now. It's all good. But no, every position, but obviously the quarterback position is what everyone sees. But we're just excited to go out there and compete. At the end of the day, like I said, it's about getting these kids off to the next level. So if it's a kid that normally played quarterback, like a Jay Latson, he's not going to play quarterback at the next level. He's going to play DB. So, again, just finding the right spot, putting those puzzle pieces together to make our team work. That's what our goal is.
Interesting you should say that, because I've had a lot of conversation lately with guys around the NFL and high level in college football talking about the position of running back, Coach. And you mentioned a guy like a Jay Latson who, he's not going to play quarterback at the next level. Go play some DB, learn how to play another position. But, Coach, I'm curious to get your take if you see student athletes as certain positions in college and even beyond start to have less and less significance and impact on the game. Are you seeing kids come in and say, Coach, I don't want to do that anymore?
Well, I know I'm going to get shame in this, but we always put our guys in the position they're going to play in college.
Right.
You look at Sandman. Sandman played tackle his first year, but Sandman's a center. So he's never played center in his life. Last year he played every rep at center. But
everybody else would have him at tackle.
Exactly.
Right.
And we're not going to do that because, again, we're trying to get our kids out. We're lucky enough to have two of the best tailbacks around. So we with Tay Welsh and Devontae Williams. But again, a kid like Jay Latson or Jamari Crooms and these athletes that are in our program, like, what is their best fit at the next level? We're going to find that. And again, we're excited for all these guys' future.
Coach, my final question for you is looking at this football team this year and looking at the schedule, Springstead, Bishop Moore, Winter Haven, Satellite. Got that Cocoa game back on the schedule. I'd love to see that. At Merritt Island, FPCH, Bayside, Rockledge, Melbourne. I look at this schedule, 9-3, 8-4, 8-4, 11-3, 6-5. That's a tough schedule, 9-3, 9-3 to close the season. You play a tough schedule to get these kids prepared for a postseason. How do you see this year progressing for you as a whole? If you looked at the end of the year right now, where'd you like to be?
Yeah, I mean, obviously undefeated. That's the goal, right? Our biggest goal right now is to win the district. We haven't done that yet since I've been here because of Rockledge, and we know how Coach Younger does an unbelievable job. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's done out there. But that's our goal is to win the district. And again, we got a team like Flagler Palm Coast. I mean, they have a 4-7 record, but they had 5 games forfeited.
Right.
So teams like that, Springstead is an elite team in the Tampa area. So we tried to get our schedule and obviously play the best. And when you're a good team, it's hard to schedule because no one wants to play you. But we were able to find a schedule, and again, the goal is to be 10-0 when the season ends and make a run in the playoffs.
Got one more for you. So I'm curious. I got to get your take on this. I got.
I know you do.
I got to get his take on this. Every year, there's a school or two in this county where kids flock to. They go. It's a cycle, right? I mean, that's the way it is. Maybe one year you get 12 transfers. Maybe this school gets that transfers. Where do you see this eventually going? And next year at this time, there is no doubt in my mind that NIL will be a legal entity for high school football players in the state of Florida. And how do you see that impacting what's occurring now?
I don't think anything changes. I think the kids are going to gravitate to what they think is what's going to be best for them. Because obviously you got a bunch of people around them that are telling them, hey, you need to go here because of this or there. So I don't think it's going to change. I think the issue, especially in our county and other places, is the adults that are pulling and calling other kids and coaches doing it and all this stuff that happens.
That doesn't happen, does it?
Yeah. I mean, the stories I heard this summer, not my kids, but again, within this county with coaches. And, I mean, it's sad. But at the end of the day, nothing's going to change. But it's the kids' decision. The issue is when they go and they don't get all the crap that, these people promise them they're going to get, and then they're trying to leave the next year. And then that's the cycle where they're trying to find that itch, what they're trying to get, instead of just going to the correct spot at the start. But again, at the end of the day, the ball gets kicked off on Friday nights and 7 o'clock hits, whether you got 20 transfers or 5, you got to put 11 on the field. And, again, in this county, I don't think it's ever going to change. Obviously, other counties as well. But I think the only change you're going to get when adults start being adults and they, figure it out that way.
Coach, my final question for you. We got 2 weeks, obviously, till camp starts. How excited are you to get to that point where you can get to that first practice? Yeah,
I mean, I'm always excited. Obviously, it's a grind every single day, but I know our kids are excited, and that's all that matters. We can't go out there and play, but the 11 that we put on the field can. So our guys are really excited. Our staff is excited. And you know me, I'm never going to say anything about me or,
No.
that's the way, not how it's going to work. But our guys are excited, and they're excited to go out there and compete. And, the worst is those first 2 weeks because they start getting sick of seeing everyone they saw all summer. And obviously you got some pads on this next couple of weeks. But, when that school starts and the kickoff classics in the horizon, I know our guys will be really excited.
Come on, tell the truth. This is the longest damn 2 weeks of the high school coach's life because you want them kids to behave. You want them to get out on that field.
To be honest,
no swimming, nothing.
It's not any worse than homecoming week. I mean, homecoming week is the worst. But no, especially as teachers, I mean,
Right.
we have work obligations and got to hang in a classroom for all day until that 3 o'clock practice rolls around. So again, we're just we're ready to go, and our kids are excited, and our guys are ready to kind of come together with all the new guys and the old guys, and start making a run.
1,535 yards rushing last year. 2 of the best backs in the county back there this year with an offensive line that is absolutely brutal, led by the number 1 ranked offensive lineman here, number 3 in the country.
No, that's our defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle, I'm sorry.
So that's
Where's Sandman ranked? He's top 10
he's
somewhere.
One of the top centers in the country.
And I'm telling you, running behind those guys and trying to get through, it's going to be tough.
Yep.
It's going to be tough. Coach, good luck this
Thank you
season.
so much.
Thank you as always.
Thank you.
Great to meet you, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, Coach Chris Sands of the Eau Gallie Commodores. You know the thing I love about Eau Gallie the most, obviously aside from Coach Sands and his players, they still got those, I'm sorry to tell you this, Knock, but they still got those slanted press boxes there.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I keep waiting for Eau Gallie to get a cool press box. I'm waiting for Brevard County to kind of get cool press boxes. But I'll tell you this, though. I will say, I got to, because I'm a Melbourne alum.
Yep.
There's always that rivalry. But I do love the fact they went to red helmets. I don't know if they still have them, but I think they do. But I love the red helmets.
This guy, here you go, Coach. Pop this on your head there. He texted me yesterday. He said, I said, Coach, I need a picture of you for the graphic. He said, I don't have one. I got a face for radio. I don't know what the hell to tell you. Please help me welcome first-year head coach, but I've been a football coach for a real long time and a really, really good one at that. Billy Miller from the Bayside Bears. Coach, how are you, man?
You're doing better than I deserve, man. I appreciate you guys having me tonight.
Appreciate you being here. All right, Coach, you take over the Bayside Bears. Why was Bayside – the obvious question is why is this the job that you wanted to have? You could have had any in the county that opened up in the last couple of years. Why was this the one?
Well, first of all, I waited until my kids were grown.
Got you.
In my career, and I think I'm going into year number 29 of coaching high school football.
Yes, sir.
And I felt like it was a fit philosophically with the leadership of the school.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Broomfield left some good bones. I felt like it's a place that we can be successful and it fit the philosophy that I wanted, where we're going to build one brick at a time. I'm a little bit old school, so we're going to do things a little bit different. I've told our kids the first day I'm more committed to the 25-year-old version of them than I am right now. And I told the administration in the interview process, if you're looking for a guy that's just, that's just going to try to win football games at all costs, I'm not your man. I want you to judge me 4 or 5 years down the road and the type of kid that we turn out and we're going to teach them how to be good husbands, good fathers, good citizens. We got 3 rules in our football team. Number 1, you better be a good son. And we told moms and dads, if they don't, call me. They've all got my cell phone number.
I like that.
Number 2, you be a good student and citizen. Because if that stuff happens, the football's going to take care of itself. And rule number 3 is be a great teammate.
Gotcha.
And if they do all that stuff, the football will take care of itself.
Man, those are 3 great rules. And, I could play for a guy like this because I had a disciplinary for a coach, and it was the only way I would listen to anybody. Go ahead, Knock.
I was about to say, I was the same way. Todd Wilson always had to kick me in the rear end during practice. Coach, let's just start here. I mean, how's the participation been during the off-season workouts throughout summer? How have you felt about getting all your guys in through summer?
It's been fantastic.
Awesome.
We've had 50-plus every day.
Wow.
In the summer. We're going to be super young this year.
Yeah.
This Brevard County transfer portal has hurt us.
Yes.
But we got to control the controllables.
Yeah.
We can't worry about that. We're not going to be concerned about who's not in the building. We're going to coach the kids that are showing up every day, that are working their tails off, that are doing what they're supposed to do. We've had, once summer's done, at the end of July, we'll have 24 workout opportunities. And most of our kids have made 90+% of those.
That's incredible.
This summer, and in this heat.
Yeah. It's been hot as hell. I can't remember a hotter summer.
No.
I mean, to be honest with you.
It's August heat right now.
Yep.
Coach, you talked about how young your guys are. How do you get that to translate to where it's not that nerves once you guys step on the field and you're starting to compete for positions here, just to give them that confidence to go out and make a mistake?
We tell our kids all the time, hey, if you're going to mess up, that's fine. Just do it full speed.
Okay.
And schematically, we're going to try to put our kids in position where they don't have to think. Our job as coaches is to put them in the position they can most be successful. And that's what we've got to do. So our coaching staff, which is young also, we've got to do a great job of making sure that what we're teaching is fundamentally sound and it allows our kids to play fast and it matches with their skill set.
Yeah. I like that. That's what I told that Brevard County Sheriff last week. I said, Sheriff, I screwed up, but at least I did it at full speed. Coach, the thing that, I love about Bayside is I love Friday nights at Bayside High School. I think it's underrated, the atmosphere there. And I know you haven't been down there yet for a game, but the cheerleaders are fantastic. I mean, they were unbelievable this year. Just the support that community – you go down there on a Friday night and you see the support that community gives, and you're like, wow, this is fantastic. Talk about how much support you've gotten since you've taken the job.
Well, Ms. Zander has been 100% in my corner. She's everything I've asked for. They've given me one battle we are fighting. We're trying to upgrade our weight room.
Yeah,
and our facility. I mean, the weight room is the same as it's been since the school opened in '98, which is fine. But every time I've gone to her and asked for something, she's been either giving it to me or give me the resources to be able to go do it.
Yeah.
Coach Cheryl, the athletic director, has been, fought with me the whole way.
Good.
We've got a booster club that's in its infancy.
Yeah,
it's going into its first really full fall season, and they've been phenomenal and super supportive of what we're doing. So we're just trying to do this brick by brick. We know that it's not going to happen overnight. I mean, for example, the weight room with how I want to do it, it's going to cost us $40 or $50,000 to do.
Well, but you should have it. Right. I mean, these kids deserve it. And let me just get on my horse here for a minute, if I could. It's dangerous. I've seen the weight room, and it's dangerous in places in there.
Pictures.
Yeah.
The former county athletic director came in.
Yeah.
Pictures and
Dr. Ramsey. Yeah. No doubt.
I mean, college coaches have recruiting. That's how they develop and build their team. At the high school level, at least in our philosophy, we want to build from the weight room up and the O-line, D-line out.
Gotcha.
And the only way to develop that toughness that we want to develop and the strength that we have to develop to be successful is in that weight room.
Yep, no doubt about it. Coach, I want to talk to you about, you talked about the players that are there, and they are always the ones that matter the most. But every coach, especially a first-year head coach in a new program, has those guys that they're going to have to turn to and expect a little more out of. Who are those guys for the Bayside Bears this year?
Number 44, Brock Eaton.
Okay.
He's a defensive tackle, outside linebacker. He's also probably going to play some tight end. He's a kid that from day one balled in.
Gotcha.
When I first got there, the first thing I did was I individually interviewed every kid in our program.
Really?
And I wanted to know the good, the bad, the ugly on what had happened in the past. I want to know what worked, what didn't work, what did you like, what did you not like. And his exact words were, Coach, I want to grind. I love the grind. So we're going to build around that kid, not only because he's a great athlete, but because he's a hard worker and he embodies what a Bayside guy needs to be.
Right.
Caden Bradham, our quarterback, was injured
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Big,
That's
tall
tough
kid,
last year, yeah.
high academic. He can spin the heck out of the ball.
Yes, he can.
He's going to be good for us. We just got to keep him healthy and give him a running game to go with it. I think what I was most excited about when I first got there was what we had on the offensive and defensive line. Again, they're young, but they are hardworking kids. And when you get a group of kids that want to play offensive line, that's a pretty special thing to have.
Let me say this about the Bravens because I think it's worth saying. Caden and Logan the quarterback, his brother, playing college football now. I know that people from around this county reached out to those kids to play at other places throughout their careers at Bayside. I give them all the credit in the world, and I think, Coach, it speaks a lot to their character that they absolutely stayed committed to the Bayside Bears football program.
And that's what we're so excited about the kids because we only lost 2 or 3.
Right.
And we know what's going on. I'm not going to get on that
Right.
soapbox at this time, but we're going to coach the kids that are there, and that's why we're so excited because and when I got there, I told them, hey, give me 18 weeks. And I took the job on January the 9th. So we had almost a full spring semester.
Right.
And that's what our kids have done. Our GPA has gone up. 27% of our kids were academically ineligible that were on the fall roster when we got to spring practice in April. So we turned that around. We've got, all those kids back last semester academically, and that's going to be job one. We've already talked to them about that. We're doing some kind of in-services, if you will, with our team this summer about how important the academic side is.
I know Coach is a smart guy because I had a group text going with the coaches about who was going first, second, or third. And I said, second is still open. And 30 seconds later, he said, I'll take it.
I like to be early.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Coach, you talked about some of your young guys there, but obviously you guys got camp here in 2 weeks. Where's a position that you're seeing a lot of high competition, a lot of guys just chomping at the bit to get that starting spot? Where are you seeing that on your football team right now?
Linebacker, which was a weak spot for us.
Okay.
Is going to be a spot that we had to have competition, and that might end up getting filled by some young guys. We've got a 9th grader that might be able to play just on. Now, obviously, we hadn't done anything football related. This has all been weight room and just conditioning. But there and defensive back as well is a place. Obviously, against Viera, we didn't do very well in the secondary, and part of that is when you've done something successfully like I've done defensively for so long.
Yes, sir.
We had it rolling at Eau Gallie. We were very successful the year I was at Melbourne Central Catholic and at Sebastian. Sometimes you got to change what you do a little bit, tweak it to fit the personnel that you have.
Coach, you talk about that because you're going from the defensive coordinator now to the head coach. Are you going to continue to call plays, or how much does that change now that you're also the head coach along with the defensive coordinator?
In an ideal world, I want to hand that over because there's so many other things that you have to oversee as the head coach. You're kind of, they say it all the time. I was watching the SEC media days today, and they kept referring to the head coach as the CEO. And there's so much going on. I mean, I've probably done very little football since I took this job on January the 9th. It's all been dealing with parents, fundraising, logistical items, making sure facility was squared away, making sure medically, do all my coaches have CPR first aid certification?
When do you get to coach?
That's what I'm waiting on. We got to do it for a couple weeks in the spring, and I didn't do a very good job of that, so I got to get better at that. I've got a couple of young guys that I want to groom to take over that defensive coordinator position. So I'm going to try to give them pieces at a time to do that. Because eventually I want to hand that over because I got guys I can trust. We don't have a lot of experience, but they're great guys, and they are kid first. That's why I hired them.
I got you.
And they do a fantastic job. They've got a great relationship.
You played in the SEC of Division II football in the Gulf South Conference at Newberry, right?
Well, my freshman year was our first year NCAA.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
And
I
we
got
were not
you.
very good.
What was your what you play in college, and what is when it comes to football? What is Billy Miller's passion? What position? Like when you're watching a game on Sunday, what's Billy Miller watching?
Well, first thing, my passion is the relationship with my kids.
Right.
That's the most important thing. They don't care about your football. They want to know you love them as people first.
That's right.
But if I say, hey, you can't be a head coach no more, what do you want to go do? I'm going to coach inside linebackers.
That's what you like, huh?
And I want to try to knock that guy out every snap.
Had this argument the other day. Who's the greatest inside linebacker you've ever seen play the game?
Any level?
Any level.
Mike Singletary.
Who?
See, I like
Mike
Coach.
Singletary.
I like Coach. See,
Singletary.
I agree with him. I think it's Mike Singletary.
I put Singletary first, too. I got Singletary first and Lewis second.
I was going to say, I thought you put Lewis up first.
No, I put him second. You know, I thought I think the innovator.
I like Singletary just because there's no flash.
Right. And, you know, and he was the innovator, I thought, of that position modern day-wise anyway. Yeah, I mean, I get it, the guys back in the day, but they didn't do the things that Singletary and Ray Lewis did at that position. Coach, all right, let's talk about, I know that spring game was a rough one. As a new football coach, you go through something like that. First of all, what do you tell your what do you tell your kids? What do you say? You know, look, it's easier said than done. You're going through a coaching change, but then you get beat by 30 points in the spring game. How do you keep their mindset up here?
Well, if you look at the game, first half defensively, we played well.
Yes, you did.
And we were behind schedule offensively in the first half. Number one, chop down the scoreboard.
Yep.
Don't look at you can't be result focused. And I know it's a cliche. I know people think it's coaches speak. But trust the process.
No, I like that.
Trust the process because you're not gonna pick this stuff up. You know, they were taught things that they had learned over the last 5 years. We were here for 2.5, 3 months, doing something completely different, completely new with different faces, and that works because we built relationships with the kids, and they started to trust us, and that takes time.
Yes, it does.
And if you don't have those relationships with those kids, and you don't let them know, because every day before our kids leave our facility, they hear me, they hear our assistants say, I love you, man. Let me know if you need something.
I like that. Tell us about your coaches.
The ones that I played for?
No. The ones you got now.
coaches.
Yeah, tell us about your assistant coaches.
I retained 2 off the previous staff.
Okay.
Chris Eves, who's the only other guy on campus.
Right.
He's our offensive coordinator. This transition doesn't happen without him. He
Got
did
you.
a phenomenal job of making sure that I had everything down pat, that if I needed something on campus, I mean, I was looking where the bathrooms were when I first got in the building. His wife is also a teacher there. She's been, a huge help, and she handles all of our graphic stuff and helps run our social media. Coach King came over with me from Eau Gallie.
Okay.
He's a retired military guy.
Yeah, he's a disciplined guy.
And he and I have very like philosophy. Coach Matt was the O-line coach over there. He's a phenomenal teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Does a great job with the kids. He's got a super rapport. I've got a kid volunteering that played for me at Eau Gallie.
Really?
He'll be coaching my defensive
Who
line.
is it?
Clay Folsom.
Okay.
And, Clay does a good job of teaching. He understands our defense. He played O-line at Eau Gallie.
Right.
But he went against our defensive line every day in practice for 3 or 4 years. So he understands.
He knows it.
He knows. He also wrestled for me while I was coaching wrestling over there.
You still coaching wrestling?
I'm going to help a little bit, but the plate's full right now.
Every event in the county seems like it's held down at Bayside. So
yeah. Well, we got that gigantic gym. So.
Yeah. Does the Barber Pill Classic still get held there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Coach, you kind of talked about it here, and talked about your coaching staff and those things in that transition. But just at this point now, you got 2 weeks till camp. How excited are you to just get to practice and get the first practice out?
I'm ready to. My passion is being out on the grass with those kids. After everything else is taken care of, the water's taken care of, the parents' issues are done. I love being out on that grass with the kids, and we're excited about what we're going to be able to do here. We're going to be competitive. I'm not naive enough to think we're going to go win a state title. And the competition and the coaching in this county is pretty good, and we're going to have a rough time in that district that we're in. And everybody's got 5 years worth of film on us defensively to know what we're going to do.
I like the approach, though, Coach.
But if it works, you don't change it.
No, because it worked.
It did.
It worked
now,
at Eau Gallie.
Don't get it wrong. We had some Jimmys and Joes,
but it worked
the past 4 or 5 years.
But you can coach that talent, not win, and still get scored on. I mean, we see it every week, right?
Right.
But you did a hell of a job there.
At the end of the day, it's high school football.
Yeah.
And what we want for our kids when they go away, we want them to know, hey, number one, the coaches cared about me as a person. They just didn't use me up as a football player.
Right.
And number two, they know that we have that relationship. If they need something, we're there for them as a collective group. And we've got to model that.
Looks like it's we over me.
We are all the time, man.
We over me.
And that's what we sold to our kids.
Yeah.
Day one.
Gotcha.
Because when I sat down and did those individual interviews, they said there were, everybody's all talking about scholarships, this and there's favoritism, and I said no. I said it's team first.
Yeah.
It's team first. Now don't misconstrue that as being, hey, we don't care about you individually.
Right. We want to see you.
But the needs of the team are going to be greater than the needs of the single person.
And then that way everybody gets the common goal.
Coach, for you, I mean, how are you looking at this? I know coaches always have steps to these things, and obviously you kind of talked about what you guys want to accomplish. You got a young football team, but for you, what's the measure of success here? What's the goal? What are some of the things you got on the chalkboard, or whiteboard, I should say at this point?
Well, the first thing is when you play Bayside, don't worry about the scoreboard, but it's going to be physical. We're going to play super fast, and we're going to be disciplined as hell.
You're going to know you played you.
Right. I don't care what – and I told the kids, I don't care what the score is. All I'm asking for you, and I'll never ask a kid to win a football game. All I'm going to ask of that kid, give me your best. Give me your best every time you step out on that field, every time you go in that classroom, every time you go in that weight room, every time you go out in the community, every time you go home. Just do your best. That's all I want.
I knew when I met this guy that I'd want to run through a wall for him, and I do. I'm ready. I'm ready to line up.
Well,
if I didn't have to use my legs, Coach, I'd be out there.
There's no success though if I don't have the support at home.
Right.
And I don't do this without.
Tell us about your family.
My wife is a 100% football wife.
Gotcha. That's important.
She understands, and especially being the head coach.
Yes.
Because I don't know what my house looks like in the daytime.
So she's relished being a head coach's wife. Because I love coaches' wives, but there's these head coaches' wives. There's a club.
There's Bear Bryant said one time there's a special place in heaven for coaches' wives.
Yes.
And
he's right.
That could not be more true. To my wife, I tell her every September or every August, hey, you're about to adopt 70 more sons.
Right.
Are we ready to do that? That's number one. And I have the support. I've got 3 daughters. They're all grown. They know where I'm at. They know I'm probably going to be at football practice. So
gotcha. You got 3 grown daughters?
Yes, that's why I don't have any hair.
Oh. I got 1. I get it. Yeah, okay. I can't imagine 3.
And we do have a grandson. He's 7 years old.
Congratulations.
And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. And he's a boy.
Yes, sir.
That's what grandson is, Alan. Right?
So it's me and him. But if I don't have that support at home, I can't do my job.
Right. That's incredible. Coach, the good news is looking at your schedule this year, you will be on Brevard Sports Network at least 3 times. We'll see you against Satellite Viera. We got your final game of the year against Heritage. Any final thoughts or questions for Coach?
I mean, Coach, I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys bring to the table. Like I said, having young players, that just adds intrigue because, like I said, you just don't know what you're going to get out of those young guys.
Right.
And sometimes that can be really big stars.
Right. And hopefully we just, we mold these guys into what we want them to be. And like we tell our kids all the time, it's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
And you can't measure this success just by what's going on the scoreboard. Are you getting better at your craft? Are you getting better a little bit every week? Are we doing things the right way? We tell them all the time, hey, it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yep. My coach used to tell me, Alan, patience is a virtue until I tell your ass to do something.
Right. And then it's time to go.
Right.
But and that's been the thing I've been excited about the most is just the effort that our kids give. We've had a bad showing in the spring game. Well, I say bad, not what we.
A learning experience,
right? We've had some subpar practices, but it's not been because of effort.
Right.
And we told our kids from day one, hey, we're not going to coach effort.
You can't teach effort.
You control two things as an athlete: your attitude and your effort. Those two things we're not going to control. You take care of that, we'll take care of the rest as the coaching staff, making sure that you're in the right place for success.
If obviously we over me is a big thing, but if final question for you is, if I said to you, what is the one thing you want everybody to know about the direction of the Bayside Bears football program, what would that one thing be?
That we love the heck out of our kids.
I love it.
And we're going to treat them like we would our own.
Got you.
Now, that might be some tough love sometimes, but that also is going to be a lot of, hey, making sure I put my arm around you because I see in your eyes something's wrong.
Right.
And something's not right.
Right.
The relationship piece is the most important. If you don't have that, you
ain't
got
nothing.
Nothing at all.
Coach Billy Miller of the Bayside Bears, thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you guys for
Listen,
having me.
I really appreciate you coming
Yeah,
down
man.
here. It's a
Anytime,
pleasure
man.
to finally meet you, and we'll get down there in August once camp starts.
You come see us.
And you ain't got if we're there, you do your thing because we love it.
We don't do things any different when anybody's watching. That's
Love
the
it.
good thing about what we do.
Gotcha. Coach Billy Miller. Who we got next, Caleb?
Thank you, man.
Coach, great to meet you.
All right, we got Coach Brian Helton from Satellite coming up. And I tell you what, Billy Miller is the kind of guy, I'm talking about 20 years older than you, 18.
Something like that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. It's killing me. But the thing is that I know you like that discipline type coaching too. You didn't like it when it was happening to you. My coach would be in my head constantly. I wanted to knock him out, but I know what he made me, Mm-hmm. So, and Billy Miller strikes me as the kind of guy where, you know what, you'd run through a wall for him. He's gonna make you angry some days, but other days you'll run through a wall for him. That's for sure. All right, we got Coach Brian Helton here from the Satellite Scorpions, and Coach, first of all, your second year here.
Yes, sir.
Last year, 5-6 for the Scorps. Before we start talking football, let's go back to last year, Coach. Because I'm curious about a couple of things now that it's been a year.
Oh, boy.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, boy. Here they come.
You're on the hot seat now. Coach, there were a lot
please.
Coach, there were a lot of there is no check. See, listen, obviously there were ups and downs last year.
Oh, God, yes.
As you look back, I think I asked you on one show, Coach, how are things going? This was a Friday night, and you looked into that camera and you said, Alan, it's like drinking water from a fire hose. and I said, Coach, I hear you, man. I hear you. What did you, at the end of the day, when you got a chance to catch your breath after the season ended, what did you learn? What did you take from all of it last year?
You just got to learn how to go with the flow, and you got a kid that gets injured. Yes, you got to worry about him. You got to make sure that he's good. You got to make sure that he's taken care of. But you got to get the next person in ready, and he's got to be he's got to be ready, and you got to make sure that everyone's giving him the positivity and the backing that he needs, and not beating him down, and unfortunately, I had some of that happened last year.
Yes,
where
you did.
I had a kid go down, and I had another kid come in, and they just beat him down.
Yes.
I mean, every day, and it was during school. It was
it took a toll on you.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
And trying to fight that, trying to bring everybody together, and trying to get them to learn what I expected, my accountability, my role as the head coach, and what I expected from them, and what the camaraderie was that I wanted. And then playing the hardest schedule that Satellite's played in 6-7 years.
That's a tough schedule last year.
It was a huge tough schedule.
Yeah.
And Knox Robinson did a great job putting it together, and he wanted to take it a step further, and I walked into it. And I had 5 weeks to walk into it and
that was the other thing. The length of time you had from when you were hired to when things got going.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
June 26th, I got hired. I was there it was a Thursday. I was there on Friday. And then we did the flag ceremony on the 30th of June.
Yeah.
And then the kids were gone for a week. And then I went on vacation the week after. So I basically had 4 weeks to get these kids ready. They had to learn me. I had to learn them. And, I mean, we were learning each other throughout the whole season. And, it finally clicked at the Seabreeze game. We were down 28-0.
Yep.
Right at the end of the second quarter, they started getting it. We went into the halftime. I didn't yell at them. I talked to them. I told them, come out, be confident. You guys got this. We can come back. We walk out, and I got kids pouting. And first one came out, he was pouting. Second one comes out, he's pouting. I put him right back in.
Yeah.
Had a good coach conversation with him.
Yeah.
We came out. We put
little coming to Jesus meeting.
Oh yeah, yeah. All the coaches in the world, and you know exactly what I said to them. So all the moms and dads out there, I'm sorry, but it needed to be said. But we came out. We put 22 points on the board, and we held them to 0 points.
Yeah.
And we had a fluke loss against Bayside. Just a bad fumble and a bad part of the game that put them inside the red zone where they took 5 plays to score the touchdown, and they beat us 7-3.
Yep.
And then we turn around and we go to Rockledge, and we just weren't ready to be in that game. We weren't. And then we take a bye week. My quarterback comes back, and you could just see it.
You're a different football team.
Yeah. Just 100%.
I mean, look, I don't think I'm sitting here saying anything that if you watch football in this county, you don't know. And God bless him, because my heart still breaks for him. But make a field goal, and it's you going to play Mainland.
Yes.
I mean, that's the truth of the matter. And Rockledge is out in round 1. What was the difference between – and I know you're going to tell me quarterback, but your defense did a hell of a job too. But 42-7 in the first Rockledge game. 3 weeks later – First half, right. 3 weeks later, it's 14-12. What'd you do?
13-12.
13-12. 13.
Hey, can't give an extra point now.
Right. 13-12.
It was, they bought in. They finally bought into the process and what we were trying to do and what I was trying to do and what I was trying to give to them. They bought into watching film. They bought into working out that week. They bought into being focused and doing what they needed to do on the field. And we got rained out for a little bit at a couple practices, and they were like, Coach, can we stay? Can we stay? And I'm like, we can go. Seriously. We can stay later, but I need you guys to be focused, and you guys to be willing to do it. And they're like, Coach,
let's go.
We're able to do this. We want to do this. And I'm like, all right, we got it. So, we practiced till about 6:45. Practiced till 7 o'clock on Wednesday, and we did the walkthrough on Thursday, and it was the most crisp walkthrough that we had the whole season. And it's just that they had confidence in that game, and they weren't afraid.
No.
In that first game, they were completely afraid to play that first game, and they weren't focused. It was just everything that could have gone wrong that day went wrong, and it started at the beginning of the day.
How much was the win over Merritt Island, a team you spent a great deal of time with, that you left to take the head coaching job at Satellite? How much of that helped you personally? Because, look, anytime you beat your former team, I don't care who you are, it does something to you in a positive way. Yeah. How big was that win for you?
Oh, my God. Well, thank God that there wasn't a camera on me, because I was a blubbering fool. I'm telling you, it was such an emotional week for me.
Yeah.
Going back and playing there and seeing all the players that were there that played for me, that I coached. And it was – I tried not to use any of that during. I didn't make it about me during the practice.
Right.
I didn't make it about me. I made it about us winning, which would give us that opportunity to make the playoffs, and that we had to go in there and do what we needed to do. And by the way, they made us homecoming.
So that's always bulletin material that week.
Yeah. So I kept harping on that, but Minor from East River had just passed away.
Yes.
And it was an emotional time. I had gone to the game, and he was just a great young man. He was a great human being, and I had the opportunity to meet him and just know him as a person and know the coaches over there, and it was just it was emotional. They knew it took a toll out of me. They knew what the game was about for me. But again, I made it about they made us homecoming.
Right.
If we win this game, we have a great opportunity to go to the playoffs.
Yep.
We need things to happen,
And boy,
but
did
we
they.
had that opportunity to go to the playoffs. Let's go in and do what we need to do.
Coach, I know we're kind of talking about the history of last year, but I'll be honest, in the research that I've done about your program leading up to tonight, I have just felt an energy about your program, and I haven't even been around campus yet. So I got to ask, as you guys have been in the summer weight rooms, as you guys are getting ready here, what's the energy like amongst the program? Am I getting the right sense about your team?
Oh God! I mean, you're talking about it. I got
He's
goosebumps.
got goosebumps.
I got freaking goosebumps.
He's got literal goosebumps.
I do. I mean, it's everybody is on the same page, and they're ready. We come out, we come in. We do the weights first. We go out. We do the running conditioning program, and I'm out there running with them, and everybody wants to beat me.
I got a question here real quick, Knock, from one Nick. I don't know this guy, Nick Donahue. Somebody wants to know, how much do you bench? Good old Nick. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Knock.
I'm not answering that question.
Coach, though, but in terms of what you guys have been doing in the offseason, obviously a lot of things going on for the kids, 7-on-7s, all those types of things. In terms of weight room, how has that participation been for your team?
It's been good. We probably have about 85 kids that are on the team, 85 to 90 kids, and we have about 85 to 87% of the kids coming. We do have some kids that have obligations that they can't do. So what I do is I take a picture of the workout, I post it on our team app, and they know that we're testing, and you better come in and be ready, because if not, you've got work to do. It's not punishment, but it's makeup due to the fact that if you're going to put yourself on that field, I have to feel comfortable. Your teammates have to feel comfortable in you, and you have to feel comfortable in yourself to be able to go out and have that rigorous day in and day out, getting beat up every day on that football field, and you need to be ready. And it's a safety issue. If you're not ready to step on that field and take the beating of going one-on-ones every day with somebody, then it's a hazard. So it's been good. It's been really good, and we've talked about teams and coaches and who really is the leader. Yes, we understand coaches are the leader, and coach should be able to lead it, but the championship teams, your players lead that team. If I'm not around, your upper class, I don't care if it's a freshman stepping up, a sophomore stepping up, a junior or a senior, and I've told them, I said, if you step up, be the man, have confidence in yourself, and lead this team. Be a leader, and leaders lead others. And take control of this team, and we're going to win. We're going to win. Don't put it on me and go, we're looking at you, because you've got to do it. We as coaches can only take you so far. Right. But on Friday night, when the lights come on and the whistle blows, we can't play that game for you. You've got to be able to take it.
It's a good thing you got to Coach Piccolo before we did, because we'd have him in a booth.
Yeah.
Talk about your coaching staff, and Talk about the addition of one Tony Piccolo, because you got Nick Donahue. You got a fantastic staff. Talk about your coaching staff.
I got Ryan Henkel coming back.
Yeah.
He's my running back coach. He played in Indiana. He's knowledgeable, super knowledgeable. And he's been a running back coach for 6 years now, being there, and he knows the kids, he knows the players, and he's on board with what we do, and he's got little tricks of the trade, and he's a long snapper, so he can work with the long snappers, and so he's a good asset and a good habilitated coach that can do what he needs to do. For quarterbacks is Nick Donahue. He came on from Merritt Island.
Yeah.
He's not only the quarterback coach, but he will also be the offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Came over. I really liked what he did with his offense. Worked with it. We sat down. We talked.
You mean he really knows offense?
Knows a little bit.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He likes to put that ball in the air, so I got to yell at him sometimes. Run the ball, But being able to have him and knowing the knowledge and the relationships that he can build with kids, it's phenomenal to watch him being able to grow and do what he needs to do. My two offensive line coaches, I have Garrett Keith. Garrett Keith played for me back in my first stint at Satellite. Wound off going to FIT. And coming back
That's where I know
coaching.
That name. Okay.
Yep. So he's winding up coaching. I have Antoine Trice. Antoine Trice went to Charleston Southern.
Okay.
And wound up going into the league for a couple years, and then being able to come out. He retired. He was like, all right, I got time. So he's like, if you ever get that opportunity to be a head coach and you need coaches, call me. So I snagged him as quick as possible. And then I just have the D-line coach, James Clark. He's been there for 5 years now. Great guy. He's military background. Does things that he tells me I can't talk about.
Okay.
I just got to go, coach. And we're like, okay,
do your thing.
You do your thing. Yep, just take care of me. That's all that matters. So he's back. He's doing the D-line. I just hired a gentleman 2 days ago. His name is Caleb Johnson.
Okay.
He played at Mel High.
Okay.
Graduated, went up to UMass, played at UMass, went to Southern Illinois, finished up at Southern Illinois. Now he's just doing his master's, and he's coming on.
Okay.
25 years old, first year coach, but the knowledge that he has learned and the coaching that he has gotten at both UMass and Southern Illinois, it's going to be a good time for him.
No doubt.
Lovicher Jones, he's been there for 4 years now.
I love Coach Jones.
Yep. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I did have him at D-line, but I'm going to pull him back, and he's going to coach with me as linebackers.
Okay.
That way it gives me the ability to move around a little bit. So if I need to go and watch the offense and deal with the offense a little bit, I'm able to deal with them. If I need to go deal with the DBs, I can go work with them. Sean Baldwin is my DB coach. He was my assistant at Merritt Island under the 3 years that I was there. He was my JV defense coordinator as well over at Merritt Island. So it was a great opportunity. He had stepped away. Great opportunity to bring him over. He knows my system. He knows what I like, and he knows that we can be the 3-3, or we can shift and go to a different set, different look, and it's the same thing, and we're good to go. And then Tony Piccolo.
Yes.
Tony Piccolo. Tony Piccolo gave me the first opportunity to be a coordinator. I was the assistant strength and conditioning coach with Phil Price. Mm-hmm. Phil was inside and I was outside, and wound up taking over the conditioning over there, and I was an offensive line coach for a while for him, and then he moved me over to defense, and I had DBs there, and then I had an opportunity to move on, and I moved on, and he gave me that opportunity, but being able to bring him on as my associate head coach and have the 35 years of knowledge that he has underneath of him and the 15 years as a head coach, and he'll look you in the eye and tell you, I don't have all the answers, but you know what, darn it, you got more answers than me. So well, and to have somebody with that much knowledge and
familiar with the community too over there.
Familiar with the community, he's in Cape Canaveral. He graduated from Cocoa. Has coached at the college level, taken 2 teams and had their best records, and still their best coaches in their history of being around, and just being able to have him, it's just it's
a blessing,
it's an honor,
yeah.
And I am truly blessed to have him as my associate head coach.
I'm excited to sit down and talk to him. He's funny too.
Yep. Coach, you talked about the staff that you've assembled here, but the guys that you've got on your roster, who are some guys that really shined, that made a lot of progress in the weight room that stood out to you?
My defensive end, Zach Ridali, he's gotten a lot stronger. He's going to come on. He did well. I got Alan Steffen. He's going to be one of my linebackers. He came on, did very well. He played basketball over the winter, so he kind of took off a little bit, but he did what he needed to do to get back up and be able to be a starter for me. Atticus is just he's a special kid. He's a special kid, and he's about 6'3", 6'4". He's about 200 pounds, and he'll let you out. He's going to be an inside linebacker for me. I had Seth Hufty, who transferred in from.
That's a big get.
Yeah. He transferred in from Viera. I am honored and lucky to get to have the opportunity to coach him.
Is he going to kick too? Or?
Yeah. Yep. He's going to kick. I have Caleb Jones, who's coming back. So I've got 2 spectacular kickers. I mean they're just phenomenal kickers.
Caleb's on a mission too. Isn't he?
Yeah. I have Daryl Wiley who's coming back. He's going to be my nose guard. He put on like 20 pounds.
Awesome.
So he's 270 pounds, and I mean he's a good 270 as well. On the offensive side, I lost Noah Ostrander and Harlan Pete to MCC, and so I had kids that stepped up. I had Tucker Fry, who stepped up and pushed himself and did a great job getting himself ready to be an everyday starter. He played last year as a starter, but he's doing what he needs to do. I have Jay Wallace, who's coming back. He was a young kid last year. But just a phenomenal kid. He's gotten a lot stronger in that weight room. Any
Montanez's in there, or have they all graduated?
Izzy Montanez transferred to Rockledge.
Okay.
About 2.5 weeks ago.
Okay.
So it is what it is.
Yeah.
So in this era of high school football in Florida, it's.
What do you think is going to happen when not the transfer portal, the NIL is legal next year?
It's going to I'm going to tell everybody right now on this channel.
Yeah.
I ain't got no money. Plus I'm a closed school, and you got to go through the county office to even think about getting in my school. So you know what? You got to go through the proper channels. But yeah,
you didn't. One position I didn't hear mentioned that I'm always going to ask about the old QB, coach.
QB.
What do we got? Got?
Oh God, yeah. So my starting quarterback, Dylan Vigliotti, did a great job over the spring. Started the game against Holy Trinity about the third quarter. Late in the third quarter, wound up taking a shot. It was just a routine shot over on the sideline. Wound up getting hit, buckled his knee. So about 3 weeks ago, he came to me, and the prognosis was he blew out his ACL.
Oh, no.
So he's getting his surgery. He's out for 9 months. The good thing is that he is a junior, so he's going to be able to come back and rehab and do what he needs to do and be able to come back and play next year. So then I had a backup. His name, Ethan Rafel. Ethan Rafel did a great job. Ethan Rafel tore his labrum last year and wasn't able to play the season. He started in January being able to lift weights and could barely lift 200 on the bench. And he's now up to 265 on the bench. But during spring practice, he wound up breaking his shoulder. Oh yeah. So now I'm down two quarterbacks. So Tristan White stepped up. Tristan White is a wide receiver, but he is an athlete, and he did play a little quarterback before. So he was like, "Coach, I got this. Came in, finished the game at Holy Trinity, and scored a passing touchdown for us, and did a great job.
Very
so
nice.
we were going in with that. I had a freshman come in, Brody Grennan. So we were looking at him, and he was looking pretty good. And we were like, okay, so if Tristan goes down, it's probably going to be Brody. So the biggest thing is we had an opportunity to get the results back for Ethan Rafel, and all of his everything is healed. And the doctors gave him the thumbs up that he's able to play. So we're able to move Tristan back to the receiver position, and now Ethan Rafel will be our starting quarterback. So,
well, Coach, I mean, you talk about that, but having guys ready, because obviously you've had to deal with injuries. How are you handling that? Do you keep kind of Tristan, maybe a few snaps, or just keep him involved in that situation?
Yeah. So we had 7-on-7 today with Mel High and so it was a season. It was a series with Tristan, a series with Ethan, a series with Brody. Just everyone being able to get ready. I have Amir Tucker that came in from Eau Gallie. So and I have Brady Ferris. I have Ethan, I have Lamb that's there. I have Eric Wiesa that's there. So we've got the receivers. And I have Jalen Bradley as my running back. He's coming back this year. He stayed. He didn't transfer. So that was a good opportunity for him to be here. So we are in a good position, both offense and defensive side of the ball, and our special teams, where we can plug and chug some of the new freshmen that we're getting in, and they're able to step up as well. So these young freshmen, some of them are going to be able to play in some of these games that we got, and they're going to be able to get some varsity time.
Coach, first before we wrap up here, I want to thank you for this, because this is going to look really pretty on the set, because we got a lot going on here, and that's going to look really, really nice. My final question for you is, last year as I went around the county and I watched other teams play defense in the county, it was funny because I started to note football's a copycat league. Now,
I don't know on defense, though.
Well, they are, but listen, the thing you're going to learn about Coach Helton is he's got one of the best defensive minds you'll ever meet in high school. You sit down and talk to him about playing defense in high school football, and it is a clinic he can put on for you. Last year, Coach, I started to notice other defenses around the county playing variations of that stack you play. Have you seen the same thing I'm seeing?
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I have. So, I mean, again, good. Going back to Mel High, it's so funny because I'm good friends with Grish and Pertucci, and they're like, anytime you want to sit down and let's talk the 3-3,
right.
And he goes, I'll teach me the 3-3, and I'll teach you what we do in our cover 2. And
I'm good on the 3-3.
I'm like, all right, let's go.
Good try, Panucci. Good try.
I'm like, all right, well, teach me how you do your cover 2 with shell over top. I'm good with that. So, and you do. It's a revolving door, and the way that the offenses are in today's society, it's just like, what's going to work? What's going to work? And I mean, at one point, if we got to go to a 4-2, we got to play a 4-2.
Right.
If we got to play a 4-4, we got to play a 4-4.
Right.
And so our base is at 3-3, but there's so many things you can do out of it, and it's such a disguise. And you have no idea where the extra rusher's coming in, or even if you blitz, you got no idea where the blitz is coming.
Even if he's coming.
Yeah, or, he might be on the line. He might not be on the line. You don't know if he's coming. You don't know if he's not coming. You don't know if the right side's coming and the left side, or you don't know if both right sides are coming. So, it's a mind game.
Logan Pettit loves it.
Oh, yeah.
Logan loves it.
It is awesome. And, it's a great opportunities for these kids because, you give them that opportunity. You give them the play, and they might have to check out of it, and they might have to tag something because the offense shows up on it in a different formation. And hey, you got to be able to check and go and be able to play with it. So and just watching everybody, I do it. I watch teams that play the 3-3 that are better than me, and there's lots of teams out there that are better than me and smarter than me, and
it's only because
I steal it.
It's only because it's in college, Coach.
No, there's lots of high school coaches out there that are so much better than me.
Coach, the thought process of scheduling the 2S state champs for your kickoff classic.
It started with last year.
Yeah.
This school has been around since 1962.
Right.
And they've never won a district.
Really?
They've never gone to a state championship.
Didn't know that.
Yes, they went to the third round,
yeah.
but it was.
It ain't the state championship.
It's not the state championship. So the kids are like, we want to win a district. We want to win the district. We want to win the district. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? You want to win the district. We got to play dudes.
Right.
We got to play dudes. I said, so, there's no, there's no cupcake schools that we're going to go out and, we're not going to play a 1-9 team or a 2-8 team. We're going to play the best of the best. So, I called Schneider and I talked to him and I said, hey, Schneider, I said, look, I had to move Palm Bay. I put them on my schedule. It's the last game of the season. I need a kickoff classic. And my kids want to play. My kids want to play kids of the high caliber of what you have. And I said, will you play us? He's like, let me see what I can do. And he called me back in a couple hours. And he's like, we got this. Let's do it.
I love Coach Schneider.
Yeah. So, it's just if these kids want to win a district, if these kids want to play, if they want to play in the first and the second and the third round and the fourth round and play on December 15th, they've got to see it.
Coach,
and we started with Coco in 2022.
Yep.
At Merritt Island, and
that was a catapult for that season.
Oh God, yes.
Because you knew then, you thought you gave Davin Widener your defense, gave Davin Widener some fits in that game. You really did, and but you could see
we
that.
Still talk about that.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. I mean, you really had him, and he'll tell you. Davin will tell you. I'm coming off the field going, what the hell have I got myself into here, right? But look, man, looking at this schedule, and you will see Heritage and Satellite, Viera and Satellite, Melbourne and Satellite, Eau Gallie and Satellite, Astronaut, Bayside, Seabreeze, Rockledge, Merritt Island, and Palm Bay, all right here on Brevard Sports Network. I want to thank you for that. We're excited
thank
about
you.
that. Knock Reiner's going to be on a lot of the calls.
Coach, great to meet you.
Thank you. Very
Jackson
nice
Rob's going to be on some of the calls.
Awesome.
Coach, we're very excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck this year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Brian Helton of the Satellite Scorpions. And, man, I wait till you see this defense. You're going to love this defense, man.
Hey, listen, I was going to say, I'm excited. Like I said, I feel the energy from Coach Helton. I felt the energy just researching the program. So, like I said, I think Satellite's going to be a really interesting team. They've got a lot of pieces here. I will say this, though. You talked about it with Coach Helton in the Open, about the schedule they had last year.
Yeah.
You look at the schedule. That's not a cupcake schedule.
It's not a cupcake schedule. It's every team in the county. And look, they start off against Heritage, who, as we know and as we've been talking about on Mouth and All Sports Talk, is just supposed to be as good as advertised. And I think they will be this year. I think we're going to get Coach Kintigh over.
So I get to
Kintigh.
I get to.
John Holmes here yet? Okay.
I was gonna say I get to talk some alma mater. I get to talk some Bulldog football.
Yeah,
you promised me, and now I finally get to deliver.
Yeah, you do. He's gonna sit down here in just a second. The first thing I want to ask him about, though, and I know he wants to talk about it, is a big event coming up on July the 30th, a big combine coming up that I know Coach is going to want to discuss. Well, I'll ask him about that first to talk about that, and then we will discuss his Melbourne Bulldogs. And Coach Kintigh, how you doing, sir? Where's that headset at, Caleb? There it is. All right. Coach has been around the media a long time. He knows how to put that thing on.
I don't know. Am I working right?
Coach David Kintigh heading into his third season with the Melbourne Bulldogs. And, Coach, before we get started talking about Melbourne football, let everybody know what's going on July 30th down at Tom McIntyre Stadium.
Global Sports is doing a combine. It's going to be run by Zybeck Sports and get everything going on. The emphasis here, and I know I've had a lot of questions on things, this for me is when they asked me to do it, and I thought it was a great opportunity because they're expanding it. It's graduating 24s all the way back to 28, so eighth graders can go to this. Zybeck certifies, records, and keeps actually the statistics from the combine from year to year as it goes through. So the younger guys, if we can get as many out there as possible to sign up for the combine, they're going to come out there. They're going to actually get it recorded, put on there so that if they're a 28 kid, they're going to be able to follow up for the next few years and show the colleges how they're improving from year to year. And Zybeck will share this with the colleges.
That's an important thing. Coach, I'm going to butt out here for the first part of this conversation. I'm going to let the alum take over here. Absolutely.
Well, Coach, you talked about that combine, and so let me ask you this because I think that's huge to have that combine here in Brevard County because so many times it feels like combines like that are taking place in Orlando. Kids feel like if they go outside.
Chad Jones, who runs Global Sports, got through me through a couple people I know, and they mentioned it to me, and I kind of like, yeah, all right, whatever, I'll talk to you. So I met with him and I talked, and when I finally talked to Chad Jones, and Paul Knight is the link through Orlando, basically what happens here is because we don't have a connection here in Brevard County that really is going to be exposure like that on a regular basis, the more Chad and I talk about this, I want this to be super successful. I think it's a little bit close, and some people are saying it's close to when the start of the season goes.
Okay.
However, if this is successful, I'm going to ask Chad, which I haven't had the conversation yet, that I'd like to move it up to like the second week of July every year so we get a good summer workout, but we get the young kids started on it. I mean, juniors and seniors, I understand we're getting ready for our season. We're going into it. I'm in the same boat. I mean, but what we're having with this combine for me is Brevard County can have this. I'm doing it on my stadium when we're coming in, and I said I would host it. They are going to hold everything. It's kind of like a fundraiser that helps out. The district, we got the paperwork done, everything right there. And I don't see why this can't be done every single year and even done at a different school. It doesn't have to be at Melbourne every year. I want it for Brevard County.
Yep.
I basically want Brevard County to start getting more exposure and more credit. Look at the guys that have played in the Super Bowl from Cocoa and everything else.
Yep.
We've got talent in this county that gets overlooked on a regular basis. I mean, just last year I had trouble. I had 22 seniors, and 11 of them had assistants and offers to go to college, but they're not D1. They didn't get the looks they deserved in the very beginning. Even though we call them coaches are trying like heck, trying to get them exposure and do everything, let's get them started right now, younger, and make it even more visible for everybody.
And Coach, I'm going to piggyback off because this makes me think about it because the transfer portal in college is obviously a big deal. Have you seen, because programs are looking at the transfer portal, how much does that affect your guys that are trying to just be freshman college football players? Have you seen a residual effect with the programs in terms of, like, if they give an offer to one of your kids?
Depends on the school.
Depends on the school?
Okay, every college that I talked to and every college coach that I worked with, some colleges 2 years ago were taking 3/4 of transfer. They taking portal guys. So their high school ends were down. They only took a few in. Others were staying 50-50. It all depends on the school. It all depends on who they are. They're going to look at the portal first, and then they're going to offer in the high school levels. And that's what I've been running into with a lot of this. So you've got guys. Go back 2 years ago, Devin Alvarez, awesome kid, goes to Virginia Tech, phenomenal, everything else. Everybody kept asking me, why hasn't he signed yet? Why hasn't he signed yet? Well, the portal was kicking in then too. So it just got back to where he signed in February and went to VTech. And it was late on the card, but it worked. And because he's such an awesome kid, we were trying to get stuff for him ahead of time on that. The college coaches will come in, and I've been told outright we're only taking 10 high school kids this year. We got 30 scholarships, but we're only taking 10 because 20 are going to portal kids. So it all depends on the school, and it all depends on the coaching staffs that you're working with from the college level.
Fair enough, fair enough. Coach, let's talk about your football team this year. First, actually, I should say this. James Hines, I want to talk about his tweet a couple of weeks ago, just the maturity, but having a kid like him that maturity in the tweet, but at the same time, what he's talking about, and just having a player like him and that kind of mindset on your roster.
He's phenomenal. The kid's great. What he does, James Hines is our leader right now on the offensive line, and he gets there and he does everything. He sits down. He went to camps this year. He put himself out there. He studied. He went as far as Michigan, where he went up where he was from before he came here. Last year he actually went out to Oklahoma and did a whole bunch of out west where his dad lives, and he did a whole things out there. James is a character person in general, 4.0 student. Okay, he's 3.8 unweighted, 4.08 or something weighted, goes through. He's ahead of the game on everything. James is a team leader on everything. He's an offensive line guy. He's in there working and focusing. He's coachable. You get him in there, you see something wrong, you talk to him, he straightens it out. He's in the weight room. Incident that happened not too long ago. He saw an upperclassman picking on a freshman. He butted in the middle of it, straightened it out. Coaches didn't have to. So basically, when you start looking at that whole scenario, this is the leader you want on a team that steps up and does things like that. And he is out there. He is busting his butt. He's going to have a good future, and he's going to have everything that goes down, and I'm proud of him because of what he's been doing.
The mullet. Love the mullet.
I'm not going to embarrass him, but I'll say this online because I hope he's listening, okay? I found out who his hairdresser is that gave him the mullet. And she told me why he got it, but I'm not going to say on here.
I will tell you this. James Hines, because of his tweet, we brought him in for our summer series of interviews, and you'll see James Hines tomorrow night. And, Coach, he absolutely loves you. He absolutely loves you to death. Go ahead, Nuck. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, Coach, let's just talk about your off-season here, your summer workouts. Where have you seen, how much of your guys been getting in there? How do you feel about the participation that you've seen from your roster in summer workouts?
I'm going into my third year right now as a coach, and I can honestly say that I'm looking at the group of kids that are in there. We're young. We're athletic. We're getting stronger by the day. Coach Edwards, my strength coach, gets in there, and we had a bunch of the young kids come in, and the first thing we do is teach them technique, start with the weights low and go through it. And we go through this. The biggest and most impressive thing for me this year, I've seen more consistently as a group at summer workouts than we've had in my previous years. Not only are they in there focused and getting stronger and really working hard, they're there consistently, and there's more of them. I'm averaging 50 kids a day.
That's awesome.
In the past, because of summer breaks, going on vacations, all that stuff, it's summertime. I'm not going to, families make their breaks at that time of year.
Right.
So, but consistently, we've had 50 kids and we have everything there. I've got the group of ninth graders that show up and are coming in are phenomenal. They're awesome. We've got cars like Carter Black, Cody Black's little brother.
Yeah.
Carter's phenomenal. We got that coming in. We've got a bunch of others. We get into the 10th grade realm as we come through and we're growing up. One of our good team leaders that's going to be this year is our new quarterback, Jordan Padala. The kids come in and just took off right
Where's
off the bat.
he from?
He came from Broward County. The parents have moved up here to Brevard, and they just came up from that. I believe he was up Flanagan last year.
Yeah, okay.
They're moving up here. Our house is almost done being built.
Okay.
And
good timing.
He's good timing. He's come in. I mean, we went from really struggling and trying to teach a new kid quarterback who's actually still going to be on the field for us doing everything else, and going through spring ball the way we did. And I thought we did okay in spring ball considering what we were working with and how fresh we were, how young we were. We come out of it, and it's funny because we go through struggling to find a quarterback in May, and I've got 4 now.
Yeah. That's crazy. I wanted to ask real quick, Coach, every year it's a cycle, and I asked Coach Sands this. Every year it's a cycle. You might get kids that transfer in 1 year 15 at a time or 10 at a time, and you know what? This is not your year for that. You lost some due to that.
Oh, yeah.
How as a coach, I'm curious because you've got so much experience. You played on, played at one of the best colleges, back in the day for college football. You went on. You got that experience, Coach. How do you keep the kids focused on the task at hand instead of worrying about the kids that aren't there?
Getting them focused on the task at hand is probably the biggest issue that you have to deal with. Social media doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Because with social media and the way that they go and look at things, what you have to do and what I've done, I have 2 factors against us, any of us that work at Melbourne High School and have been for years, and all the years I've been there. We are a closed school.
Right.
A kid can leave me, but I can't get them in.
Right.
So it really doesn't matter what goes down, because the reality is the district has closed our school because of population or whatever their reason is.
Right.
But the reality is, because I've had kids that want to come there and can't. And I just look at them. I'm not recruiting. I'm not nothing. The bottom line is we're a closed school. If you can't get through the district the proper way, I can't even talk to you.
How do you keep your sanity?
Well, I don't drink anymore.
That's good.
So my wife keeps me sane.
I got you.
She's
you.
awesome. She takes care of that for me now. So but I also, with the kids, they're so important. I have a great staff, and the kids are so important because James Hines and those guys in that group. I mean, Jordan coming in and doing what he's doing. I've got guys. Johnny Wright is now our middle linebacker, is our leader, senior, that's going to be on our defense. I have the young guys. I have Kevin Thorpe, who played quarterback for us in the spring, who was working on defense. And yes, his dad is a High legend. Kevin himself is a phenomenal athlete. We have Deuce Ingram, who's our new receiver, who's been on the basketball team for years, has finally come out. He is doing great.
Deuce is super.
Deuce is awesome.
Yes, he is.
And he is going to show some really good signs to everybody.
Fun guy to broadcast too when he's playing basketball. Deuce with the Deuce. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. But when you start going through our players and stuff, and I start looking at the character of the kids that we have, that's all we can work with.
Right.
So it's basically when you start noticing they're looking out there and saying this and that, you got to get them focused back on, hey, we got practice. We got to worry about what's my job and how am I going to do this right? How is this going to get focused on and make it happen?
Yeah, I'm going to be a fanboy here for a second because you got another coach, a little birdie whispering in my ear down there. Guy I grew up absolutely loving to watch play as a former Maryland Terrapin, Johnny Tyson. Is he still there?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
All right, Coach, I want to get your thoughts because you guys are just a couple weeks out from camp. But in terms of what you've seen, where's the position where you've got guys competing at a high level that are just chomping at the bit, fighting for a position, for a starting spot? Where's that position on your team right now?
Pick one.
What's that?
I pick one.
A big offensive line. I know you got James Hines there, but you got four other guys there too.
We've actually got probably more linemen this year than we had last year. We've got some good kids. We got a kid that finally came back and is playing with us now. Hayden Shaleo's going to be there. We've got Hunter Register played guard for us last year, is in and out there. If we go across the road, we have Ocean O'Brien, who's been out there doing great. He was a freshman last year. We're going to be young. I mean, when you go across that board, and then I look at the group of the ninth graders coming in, our JV line is going to be huge.
Yes.
I mean, so we're going to be competing and running, and this is where, for a young team like ours, the 6-quarter rule is going to be phenomenal because we're going to be able to pick and choose and plug and get them to compete and actually be able to include them in varsity games if they can help us with that 6-quarter rule. Because, again, we're going to be young. We're going to be good. I love the athletes that we have in there, and I look at them. We're going to be good.
That.
So everybody that wants to keep dropping us down on the list, I don't care. Bottom line is my kids keep their heart and their head in the games. We're going to win games, and we're going to be good. Because they've got the athleticism. We just need to get the growth because we're going to be young.
Let me say something. You said dropping them down on the list. These people putting these rankings out in July before. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I think I've seen.
It gets people talking, though.
No, I know, but you're talking. It's like putting the college football way too early top 25 poll out the minute Georgia wins the national championship, right?
True.
Coach, you're talking about that 6-quarter rule. I don't think a school utilized that 6-quarter rule better than you guys did a couple of years ago. We just recently replayed a game on Brevard Sports Network, a JV game. Now, we put these throwback games on, and we found a throwback JV game in which Hunter Turner was the JV quarterback and then came back and played varsity. Talk about that 6-quarter rule.
How many back? Is that back when they did the Cocoa game?
Yes.
All right. I actually missed that. I was the tight ends coach under Martin at that time.
Right.
I was out because of COVID.
Right. That's
so
right.
I wasn't even there at that time.
Okay.
I had to watch the game on BSN.
I remember you telling me that.
I had to watch the game on BSN back then when they did that. One of the things about the 6-quarter rule, when it's done the right way, when we have the JV games rolling in that, and yes, winning is ultimately what we're in this for, and winning is the goal. However, when we know we've got kids that we might need to use or want to use a quarter or two in a varsity game, we might change that. We might only let them play 3 quarters
right
on a JV night. knowing that we may play them over here to help us out or to keep our depth a little bit better. Okay, and this is where experience comes in. This is where having coaches on my staff like Coach Grish, Coach Panucci, okay, John Tice now on my offensive line.
Right.
Okay, when I go through and I've got the experienced coaches there, I've got Coach Neighbor now as my offensive coordinator. We're going through. Coach Neighbor's already asked me, and they've both said, we're watching these kids during summer workouts, and we'll do the 7-on-7, and turn out that's a 6-quarter kid. I got to work with him more. He needs to be on JV getting reps, but we're going to bring him to the varsity games because we need to work with him and keep it going. And we break the kids down while we're watching them play.
I like that mindset, Coach.
But we have to. You have to teach the kids and get them to understand. You can't just throw them out there and get mad at them when they don't know it. If we're not teaching them and we're not giving them the reps where they need to play, that is the most important thing. So we're going to give kids the JV experience, and we're going to keep them out there playing as much as possible. And varsity, yeah, you got to earn that spot, but we're going to still bring you along to keep learning.
Coach, like I said, I'm really excited to see what you guys do this year. So for me, when you guys look at what your schedule is this year, how are you feeling about that, and how did you put it together, and how did you want to challenge yourselves knowing that you had a young squad?
Well, I didn't have a young squad.
Yeah.
Okay, if the 8 guys that transferred didn't transfer, I'm looking at regionals again.
Gotcha.
I'll say that flat out. That's done and gone. I don't really care at this point.
Right.
What we end up with, though, is we end up with teaching and training and going through. Changed a couple of games because I knew they wouldn't be straight for the young team. I kept Lake Brantley at the Kickoff Classic because I want these kids to understand if you want to play at that level, I'm going to keep a tough team in that Kickoff Classic. It doesn't really affect our numbers during the season.
Right.
We go in. So let's have that tough game. Let's get it out of the way at the beginning of the year and let them know what they're up against. I think we can compete when we go through there. When we get, Titusville, Merritt Island, Satellite, Orange Park. We get into that, and then we got Toho. You go through and get all that, I think we can compete. The second half of our season, when we go into districts, now we're talking on our schedule as we get a little bit tougher. Burke's back at Palm Bay. It's going to be tough.
Right.
We know that because he's a great coach. He's got good coaches on his staff, and he's a great coach. So you're going to be tough there, but it's a good rivalry between Mel High and Palm Bay. Can my kids execute? As we teach them by the time we get there. Harmony, not sure. They are tough. Harmony's always tough, and that's a district game. So when we come through there, is it going to be like last year when we had that knockdown drag out over there in Harmony, or is it going to be balanced out a little bit more? We went into that game last year with 3 of our starters missing. A lot of people didn't know that. So we had 3 starters out of that game and had a knockdown drag out to barely win that. And
block field goal at the end.
Nice.
That's just that's tough.
Won the district championship.
It did. We go through. We all know about our other district games. We've got Viera, which will be tough. Viera's tough, and he's building from last year. He's building it up. And so we've got to get through that. And, of course, we've got Eau Gallie at the end of the season. At the end of that, as we
got to find a name for that game, man.
They do.
Yeah, I know.
What is it again? And I should know that as an alum, but I don't remember.
They just came up with it.
What is it?
I don't know. They didn't tell me.
I believe
the other outlet came up with it.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because what I was going to say, is it still Palm Bay and Melbourne was still the Babcock rivalry or Battle for Babcock?
Battle of Babcock.
That's right. Battle of Babcock. Okay.
That's
remember
Babcock.
That one.
And then we go down Apollo Boulevard there. It's Crossroads. They call it the Crossroads when we got it down there.
Okay.
And when we actually get the trophy in there and it says it on there, and then I'll let you know for sure exactly what we have. But they did that. We actually have gone 2 years now, and there is a trophy for it. Winner gets to keep the trophy every year.
Dave cheats on us every once in a while. No.
Well, I was going to say.
Wait. It's just like a good mob guy, okay? I'm not cheating. My wife's not there. I'm sorry.
I like it. I need that plug for this machine. My laptop just went out. Coach, let's sum up this team this year. Anthony asked a really good question. The laptop plug. Anthony asked a really good question to a couple of previous coaches about knowing what you know now before things transpired the way that they did. What do you want to accomplish with this team this year? What would you like to, and I'm not talking in terms of wins and losses. What's a successful season for the Melbourne Bulldogs this year?
Oh, no. We are going to teach, and the whole goal here is take these young guys, get them to mold into a togetherness team. Mm-hmm. It's all about being better together. It's the thing. It's on the slogan on the back of their shirts. It's better together. It's the way it goes together. A team comes down to the kids. When we have this and they get it together, they start hanging out together. They do things together. They perform together. As things go on and you help each other out, and it all keeps working. What you're going to end up with from Melbourne High School right now, because of our age and everything else, James is doing a fantastic job as a leader, getting the rest of these guys to understand how to get your brothers back.
Right.
Learn your position. Listen to your coaches. Get that done the right way. As we go through and we get this, the reality is, as the kids come together and go forward, it's, for example, on the day that I can't get out there on time to start stretch. Did they start right on time, on their own? Are the kids moving? When they start that mold and they're doing that on time and everybody's on pace, we got it. Coach doesn't necessarily have to be there to start it. He has to be there for the drills and teaching.
Right. Final questions?
No, I mean, I'll be honest. I'm just excited for Melbourne football. I always have. Coach, I've been following you guys ever since I was in Montana. So, like I said, I've loved what you guys have done. I love what you've done with the rivalry against Palm Bay. I love seeing W's against the rivalry. I mean, again, I'm not going to say anything. I remember just how tough they are and how much that rivalry is there.
He tried to jinx me on the same meeting with something. We had a great first season, and he said something about this and that, and I was like, oh, God. Here
He did. He did. I was like, oh, God, please win. Please win. Coach, man, we love you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Man.
And like I told you earlier, I'll say it on camera so it's recorded. Mel High alumni, the door's always open.
Appreciate that, Coach. Thank you.
Door's always open.
Head
Come down and see us.
Head coach David Kintigh, the Melbourne Bulldogs, coming up. The reigning BSN Coach of the Year from the Titusville Terriers, John Holmes. Now, he'll be our final live guest here this evening. We do have Logan Hallock, but we recorded Logan Hallock's interview because Logan is getting married. He's getting married on the 22nd. I tell you what, he proposed. Logan, get a chance, watch this interview because his wife is a football woman. He proposed to her on the football field after a win. It was incredible. But This is my guy right here. Right here, our reigning. It only took me 8 months to get him his plaque, but I think we finally got it to him. Our reigning Brevard Sports Network High School Football Coach of the Year, Coach John Holmes. And, Coach, welcome back. How you doing, man?
Great to meet you, Coach.
How you doing?
Coach, this is Anthony Knockrinder. And, all right, Coach, let's talk about the summer, man. After a 7-4 successful season last year, what you did out there, first of all, I don't think it can ever be said enough, the job that you did out there, you and your staff last season, taking that program to 7-4, going to the playoffs. The most impressive part to me last year, Coach, was that second half against Palm Bay in that playoff game. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, Coach, I just, I thought in the first half, it's a big lead now. But the way those kids came out and fought just spoke to me about how you have turned this program around. How has the summer been, and how have you taken the next step?
The summer has been good. We had about between 92 and 95% show up to workouts, which is huge from what I've been hearing, because they haven't had that number in a long time.
Yeah.
As far as workouts go. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Definitely a huge turnaround.
And you got some players too, Coach. I mean, we're not, we won't get into names because camp hasn't started yet. We'll talk names more, and we'll talk about maybe a battle or two. But everything seems to be coming together at the right time. That 14 team last year, that youth team, won that national championship. I think they could have beat some high school teams last year with how good they were.
They were pretty good.
Talk about how the involvement with because I know you're a big community guy. Yep. So I'm curious. I know the community is taken to you and the kids, and talk about that.
How they have taken to me?
Yeah, and how they've been, how it's starting to really come together in that aspect.
I mean, it's still early.
Yeah.
I went to a few games last year, walking around, talking to the kids at the youth football field.
Yeah.
And like you said, they take to me, "What's up, Coach? How you doing? Excited about sending my boys to Titusville High School." All in that aspect.
Got you.
Yep.
Coach, let's talk about your summer here. I mean, obviously you guys come off of what you guys did last year. What's the summer workouts been with your roster? How much participation have you been getting this
He
summer?
said 92, 95.
92, 95.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah.
But, Coach, for you, just what you've seen and how much energy from last year is bringing into the weight room? Guys just eager to chop at the bit to get stronger, get better this summer.
A lot of energy. The guys are cheering each other on. Even the kids that come in, most of the kids have accepted them already. They're cheering them on, so it's a lot of fun.
How much emphasis do you put on those weights, Coach? I mean, you ain't a small guy. I know you still hitting them. So how much emphasis you putting on them?
Oh man, a lot.
They ever say, "Come on, Coach, show us what you got"?
Oh, every day.
Good.
Coach, where are some position battles where you've got some guys, you have multiple guys chomping at the bit, competing, and what position battle are you seeing that you can't wait to see how it turns out in camp?
Receiver.
Receiver?
We got a lot of speed at receiver over there.
Talk about Josiah Allen this year and what your expectations are for him.
With the receiving core around him?
Just him, period. What you need out of him this year.
Honestly, we're going to be a more run team.
Gotcha.
Because of all the speed that we got. Then with the special edition with Jamarion coming over, we're going to be a run team.
Yeah.
And I'm probably need 10 to 12 passes out of him. Short passes, just make sure they're completed.
I don't know when the last time. Look, we were talking about transfers, right? I mean, let's. No. Well, that's probably. Let me take your picture off. I'm like, got your picture. I accidentally left this picture up on the screen there. It's all right because he's a hell of a lot better looking me than you are.
Yeah, I know.
But we talking about transfers, right? And look, it happens. It's part of high school football life. Mm-hmm. But it's been a minute, Coach, since you see a player the caliber of the running back that you got transfer from a school like a Rockledge to a Titusville. That's big, and I think that speaks to what you're doing there. Mm-hmm. Talk about that.
Like you said, that hasn't been done in a while.
Yes.
For over a decade now, we had kids leaving Titusville from Astronaut or Titusville High School, going to the South, play Rockledge or Cocoa. So with that being said, like I said, that's pretty huge.
Yeah, no, I you know what? I wasn't shocked. The shock would be the wrong word. I was happy. I was like, you know what? This is good because I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll pat myself on the back a little bit here. When I heard that Coach Holmes was named the head coach last year, I knew that this program was going to – I just knew it was. I've seen this guy coach youth. By the way, you still coaching youth football?
I'm helping out.
No, you're not the head coach anymore?
Nah.
He's not – you hear that? He's not the head coach anymore. He's not the head coach for the youth. He's just helping out. Caleb and I love watching you in youth football. We just do. Let me ask you this. What is the goal for obviously 7-4 and a playoff win last year? Uh-huh. Now, I'm not going to ask you for wins or losses, but when you look back on this season, where will you have – and the answer is always state championship. I get that. But where will you have wanted this program to be, to do, to accomplish?
This year?
Yeah.
At least third round.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Regional final.
At least.
Yep. I think that's fair. I do.
Coach, talk about the trenches. Where are you seeing some guys? How are those guys lining up in the offensive and defensive lines for you?
One more time.
How is the offensive line and defensive line shaping up for you? Who are some strong guys for you guys right now?
We have a freshman. He's going to be a sophomore next year, Jeremy Priest. He's probably 6'5", 300 right now.
God.
Freshman 6'5"?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, man, they are getting bigger.
Yes. Unbelievable.
Was freshman, I was 5'4".
Jeez,
our O-line, we're going to be pretty young. We got one returning senior, our starting center, Patrick Gibson.
Yes.
Other than that, we'll be young freshmen and sophomores. Just got to get that grit out of them, man, to be honest with you. My D-line, I'm excited about. They're going to be sophomores this year. Mm-hmm. And like I said, last year we went 7-4 with 6 or 7 freshmen starting. So now they have a year of experience underneath their belts. Should be pretty decent up front on D-line. And questionable O-line. We'll see after this camp.
We talked about it, Coach. You got one senior, Patrick Gibson. How have you seen him kind of just get those young guys around him, try to help them out? Because obviously they're young, but he's been playing. He's got experience to kind of help them with the ins and outs of just being a young offensive lineman because there's some monster defensive linemen out there.
Yep. Patty has definitely taken the younger kids underneath his wing. which it takes the load off the coaches here and there, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that obviously helps a lot.
I've been checking every day. Obviously, every day I'm looking on Facebook. I'm looking at all the accounts for all the coaches, and got a lot of college coaches stopping through there. What does it mean to these kids to see some of the college coaches you're bringing through that campus? And I just think it's a great thing. But obviously, these kids know you're out there working for them for their futures. Talk about, that excitement.
You should see the kids during lunch.
Yeah.
They see me walking with the college coaches coming in, the eyes light up.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to come. Hey, coach, what's going on, coach? Now everybody wants to speak to me in front of the college coaches. Like, hey, man, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while.
They're bested there. As a guy, coach, that's been there and done this at a high level, playing college football, where you played it, how you played it, the bowl games you were in. What do you tell? You look at, some of these players you have that have potential to have big-time college careers coming up. What do you tell them? What advice do you give them going into a senior year?
Every one of them, interview the coaches as well as they're interviewing you.
Okay.
Make sure you get a feel for the program just like they're interviewing you.
Yeah.
Asking you all kind of questions and your parents. I tell the same thing to the parents. Make sure you question those coaches the way they're going to question you.
I like that.
Coach, you talked about some of those leaders there, obviously Gibson, but who are some other guys that are stepping up in that leadership role for you this year that you're counting on, potentially either as captains or are captains right now?
Like you said, Josiah. Let's see, we got Rajon Polidor.
Yes.
He's a receiver, going to be huge for his senior year, and he's definitely helping out in the weight room, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do a lot on the football field.
Melbourne, Yulee, Heritage, Palm Bay, Fleming Island, Space Coast, Calvert Christian Academy. That's in Fort Lauderdale. Cocoa, Holy Trinity, Astronaut, Viera. Last year, Coach, I'm looking at your offensive statistics here. 306 yards a game last year. Impressive. What are you telling your defense this year? You got to get after a quarterback a little bit more. How's that defensive front looking?
Like I said, they're young, but they're going to be sophomores. And underneath the crazy coaches myself coming off of defense,
right?
Me being on the defensive side of the ball, we're going to be a lot better this year. I don't know how many sacks we had last year, but
4.
That's it?
That's all it says.
Dang. Somebody missed something, man.
It's not out of the realm of possibility I missed it. Tell us about your coaching staff.
We were young last year.
Yeah.
So they're going to be more experienced coming in. Really excited about that. I mean, hell, 7-4, the program that was 1-19 prior to.
Incredible.
That's huge for a brand new coaching staff as well as myself coming in. And I think if we did that at 7-4 up in our first year, we should be pretty good this year.
Normally, I get like when I pick coach of the years, right? I get like, you can't pick. God bless him. We had a coach win the state championship. And he didn't get coach of the year because of what this guy did and how he did it. You're talking about a program that went 1-19 over the previous couple of seasons. And, Coach, I think the thing that you proved, because there were starting to become some scuttlebutt in this county where there were just going to be certain programs you couldn't turn around. And you can't do it. But nobody can say that now. They just can't say that. As we wrap up here with you tonight, Coach, and I truly appreciate you coming. Last year I asked you what you wanted everybody to know about your team, and you told me, know that week in and week out, this is a team that's going to get better. What do you want everybody to know about your team this year?
We are definitely a deep playoff team.
Definitely a deep playoff team. Final question?
Coach, I just want to kind of get your thoughts. We're 2 weeks out from camp, so how excited are you, for one, and your staff and your players just to be ready to go hit that first practice?
Excited and nervous at the same time because we did so well last year. We got a lot of people looking at us now to do even better, you know what I mean? And we are still young, but with a lot of additions and the kids that were there last year, I'm very excited for it.
You ain't got to worry about that. I got it taken care of. I've already ixnayed the sophomore Jakes. You good, Coach? You good? Thank you, Coach
Thanks,
John
Coach.
Holmes. And we're going to wrap up here in just a second. When we come back, Logan Hallock is our final interview. I'm going to mute it for a second, and we'll be right. Welcome back to the 2023 Coaches Shows right here on Brevard Sports Network. And tonight our next guest couldn't be here live in person tonight, and for a very good reason. And that's because he is off getting married. And he is the new head football coach for the Astronaut War Eagles. Please help me welcome here tonight to the 2023 Coaches Shows, Logan Hallock. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on your wedding. And second of all, before we even talk Astronaut football, based on what I've been able to read and see, this is a marriage based around football a little bit, because as people are looking at on the screen, there you are proposing to your lovely bride. Tell us a little bit about that and about the upcoming wedding.
Yes, sir. No, super excited about getting married to Raina. I call her the First Lady, and we're super excited about getting married in St. Augustine, and just thankful that the Lord brought her into my life. I wouldn't do this without her, and she's an awesome young lady, loves football, and she was very adamant about making a big deal about the proposal. And when I was at DeLand, I asked Coach Darlington, and he gave me permission to do it after the game. Thankfully, we won.
Okay.
And made it a special night. But I asked her to marry me on the 22-yard line because we met February 22nd of 2022. And, man, the players rallied around me, and it was a special night, special day for me. We actually won 40-22.
Wow.
God thing there. And, yeah, obviously you can't plan that with the scoreboard there, but it was just really cool. The picture that you see there, number 22, his arms are up. None of the players knew about this. And this was an awesome day, and then made it into an awesome weekend where we went up to my alma mater, Appalachian State University there, and went to the Rock and saw App State play there on Saturday against UNC in a barn burner there in overtime. Yeah, super excited about getting married to Raina, and I love that young lady, and she's super special to me, and the program that we're going to be building there at Astronaut.
Well, I can't wait until next year for the coaches show. Obviously, hopefully, we'll be able to meet her before then. But next year, we'll have to have her on the coaches show. Okay, so the first question everybody wanted to know when they saw that Astronaut hired Logan Hallock was that last name. Tell us, obviously, about how that last name Hallock ties in with the great tradition that is Astronaut War Eagle football.
Yeah, well, I mean, my dad graduated from Astronaut. My uncle obviously coached there for 19 years. The school's been around for 50 years. We're going into our 51st year, and Team 51 this upcoming season. And I'm just super honored and humbled that Krista Miller would give me the opportunity to lead the program and put it back in the Hallock name, and restore Astronaut back to where we all know that Astronaut can be and was, and even taking it a step further. And I'm super excited about the opportunity that I have in front of me. There's a lot of work to do, and I believe we've taken the right steps since I got hired to bring Astronaut back to where it once was, and even taking that next step in a different direction of bringing tradition and pride back to Astronaut football and the community and the high school there. So I'm thankful that my uncle, was there for 19 years, and my dad got to coach there for 3 years under him. And I was a part of those Friday nights there at Dre Field, and then when they went on the run to the Final Four, I remember those games and standing on the sideline being a ball boy, and then going to the Swamp and playing in the state championship there against Belle Glades.
Yeah.
I remember those days. And I remember, the guys that played at Astronaut and the tradition and the history and the foundation that those guys laid. And so I'm super excited about what we have there at Astronaut right now, and the pieces that we have, and then the future of the program as well.
Your uncle was legendary on these coaches shows. He just simply was. When I was with the Friday Night Locker Room about 8-9 years ago, we did a show, and man, your uncle was hot. He was upset about a particular topic, and he did not hold back. And it was it made for great viewing, Logan. I can tell you that right now. Here was Logan Hallock, the new head football coach for the Astronaut War Eagles. Aside from the name and the tradition, which Logan is fantastic, why was Astronaut where you wanted to be? Why was this the football program you wanted to coach?
Well, I think there's several things. I think the administration there at Astronaut is very supportive of the program, with Krista Miller there and Jamie Russell and Lori Cantaloupe and just everyone down the line there, and then Cheryl Shivel being the athletic director. I think there's a lot of great bones there, and the on-campus stadium is very unique, very special. There's no track around that stadium, which is really cool. They're kind of right on top of you. And then I think we've got a really tremendous weight room. Very big in the size there, but looking to try to make some upgrades and some improvements to that. But it's a very large weight room in the state of Florida. very functional. There's obviously some things that we need to do and change facility-wise that can help enhance the program and, get kids to want to be a part of Astronaut football. But the bones are there. The practice field is really nice. Got a brand new track around the practice field, and the community. And at the end of the day, it's about the kids. It's about people. The people are there. The kids are in the area. We've got to get them to go to Astronaut and want to be at Astronaut, and want to be a part of a program that's not just going to build them as a football player, but build them as a young man. And I was very adamant in the interview process that, if you're looking for a coach who's just good at X's and O's, I'm not the guy. But if you're looking for a guy who's good at X's and O's and is about building young men on and off the field, then I'm the right guy for the job. And so I'm thankful that they believe in me, and the kids, are starting to believe in me, and the culture's changing, and good things are on the horizon for us.
Now, you went to App State. I love App State. I used to live in a little town in North Carolina called Maiden, so we used to make some trips up to to watch App State play, and what a year they had last year. And so obviously, based on what the position you played, listed as a quarterback, you did a little of everything. Is it a fair assumption to say you're a guy that's going to take control of the offense and lead the offense, or how will that work?
Yes, sir. For the most part, I've surrounded myself with a really good group of offensive coaches and a great staff. There's still some pieces that need to be put into place, but I'm not a guy who is it's my way or the highway kind of thing. I believe these coaches I hire are great coaches. Otherwise, I wouldn't have them on staff. But they're also great men, and so for me, my biggest thing is, if I'm going to hire you, I believe in you and I trust you, and I'm going to allow you to do your job. And so we're going to have buy-in from everybody on the offensive side. But, at the end of the day, I'm going to be the guy who calls the plays. I'm going to coach the quarterbacks. I believe in my abilities, but I also learned from some great coaches in college. And then I've been a student of the game, since I got out. And so learning the things and stealing things from other coaches on, what works and what doesn't, and then going out there and coaching our guys up. I will call the plays on the offensive side, but, I've got a great offensive line coach, and Coach Matt. I got a great receivers coach and Coach Edwards. Other pieces are coming together. Coach Walker's involved in the program. He's been a Hall of Famer, played at Florida and got in the NFL on staff. And so, we got a really good group of coaches so far. And then, the guys that are looking to come on board too are going to even enhance our staff. So definitely on the offensive side, I love that side of the ball, and looking forward to what we can do with the guys that we've got there at Astronaut right now.
For those that don't know, Coach Hallock was a hell of a player, hell of a football player. He tended, and I know this high school too, West Wilkes High School. Am I correct in that?
That's correct.
That's correct. Yeah, he was a four-time county all-conference. I tell you, he was Wilkes County Offensive Player of the Year. This guy knows his stuff when it comes to high school football, college football. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him be all humble on you here. I'll sing his praises, that's for sure. Obviously, because, Coach, in high school, especially in high school, yes, I get the old expression, defense wins championships. But it is the offense that attracts the kids and makes the kids want to come. They love getting in the end zone, and obviously you got to love to stop it. Astronaut's always been known to be that school that will ground and pound it and run it down your throat. What would you say your offensive philosophy is?
Yeah, we're going to try to be balanced if we can. Obviously, you got to have a quarterback that can get the job done. I think it starts up front with the guys in the trenches, the guys putting their hands in the dirt there. We're going to continue to keep that tradition of Astronaut, being physical up front. We are definitely going to run the football, but when we get an opportunity to throw it, we definitely want to throw it. And I've got a quarterback, young kid, DJ Hunter, who's going to do a great job for us. He's a freshman this last year, be a rising sophomore. And, man, he's very talented, and he's developing as a passer. I've been working with him throughout the summer and getting a lot better at that. But we're definitely gonna run the single wing with some spread variations there. I think it fits our programs, fits our kids. I learned a lot from Coach Darlington this last year at DeLand. He's kind of the mastermind of the single wing. And I picked his brain a lot while I was there, and I was kind of his right-hand man, and thankful for the opportunity that I got to coach under him. Legendary coach, Hall of Fame coach, and probably one of the top 10 coaches in the country when it comes to high school.
Yes,
football.
he is. No doubt about that.
And so I'm thankful for what I learned from him, and we'll incorporate some of that. We'll incorporate some of the stuff that I learned from App State. Coach Satterfield and Coach Ponce and Coach Moore and Coach Clark there. So just a variation of things. But at the end of the day, we definitely want to keep it simple for our guys because we want them to go out there and execute the game plan and play fast and play physical. And so there'll be a variation of the spread and single wing there.
All right, so let me ask you this question. All right, this is the toughest question I'm going to ask as we wind down here a little bit, and we're here with the new head football coach for the Astronaut War Eagles, Logan Hallock, and I almost called you Randy. I almost did it. I almost said Randy. Logan Hallock. Logan Hallock. Coach, with the way that the coaching situation is in the state of Florida, I mean, obviously, and I'm sure you've been asked this question from parents, and even maybe some student athletes have come up to ask you this. With the way that today is, with the way that these student athletes transfer, and that's the cons of everything. How do we know that you're the guy that's gonna put this tradition? Tell us why Logan Hallock's gonna be the mainstay at Astronaut High School.
Well, I think you got to believe in me first, and then you got to believe in the program. When I stepped foot in the door there on February 6th, my biggest thing was to get the players that are there currently to believe in Coach Hallock. And when they believe in me, then they'll believe in the program and what we're trying to do here. And we're starting to see that. So we saw a lot of gains in the weight room in the spring. Guys working hard in the weight room. And I think, when they see some of those things that, you go into the weight room and you work for about 8 weeks, and then the change in their body, you see the change in their numbers for strength. They start to believe and they go, oh, wow, Coach Hallock, he does know what he's talking about. And that's a big thing for me. I want those young men to see change. And that was big. But I also think, for me, I didn't leave. I left a really good job to come to Astronaut. And, for me, that should tell people that I believe in Astronaut. I believe in the city. I believe in the program. And I believe I know what I'm doing. And I'm surrounding myself with a great group of men. And I've got the people and the pieces around me to make Astronaut what it is. And I know at the end of the day, no mama has an ugly baby, as they say. And, it's kind of the what's in it for my son. But I also know that at the end of the day, there's a handful of kids that go off to college and play college football. But there's a lot more kids that go off to college just to be a college student. And I know that you've got to have both. And I want to see every kid that has the opportunity to go off to college and play college ball. I want to give them that opportunity. I also want the guys that are not able to do that to have the opportunity to go off to college and get their 4-year degree. And, I want to get that phone call from them when they graduate college and say, hey, Coach, I just graduated from college. Or, hey, I'm getting married. Or, hey, I just had my first baby. And those are the phone calls that I want to get as a head coach. Because that's what it's about. It's about building young men and building champions on and off the field. And we're going to do that. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in what I've learned. I had a great dad and mom growing up that taught me how to do those things and instilled a lot of things in my life. And, it got me an opportunity to go and play in Division I college football. And I know what it takes to get there. I've been there. I've done it. And I want to give our young men an opportunity to do that if the ability is there and the opportunity presents itself. So I'm at Astronaut, man, to build this thing and to do it the right way.
We've seen it. We saw it. You know, I'm the kind of guy that believes that I never want to hear, and I loved your answer, by the way. Great answer. I never want to hear, always a coach will say, well, it's the area. It's not the area. It was proven last year. A guy like a John Holmes can take, and can take a team like Titusville and do what he did with them last year. I can't wait for that Astronaut-Titusville rivalry to kick back up again, because it's one of the best in the county, and it's great to have two guys up there in both you and Coach Holmes that I know are going to make that happen. As we wrap up here with Logan Hallock. Coach, if I said to you, who were some players that you've got to know so far that you can honestly sit here and tell me you expect a lot out of them coming up?
Yeah, first guy would be Jordan Marquez. Jordan is a inside linebacker. He'll play a little running back for us as well with DJ, fullback area there. He'll be a senior, rising senior. Not the biggest kid, but man, he is a great leader for us. Done a phenomenal job for me and the staff this summer in our summer workouts, holding guys accountable. Definitely a leader there. Dylan Beegler is also a guy up front. He'll play tackle for us. Done a great job since he transferred over from the private school there at Temple. And he's on campus now and working hard in the weight room. Big kid, strong kid. Been able to get his flexibility and bending his hips better and be more explosive in the weight room, which I think definitely will transfer over. We're starting to see that out onto the field. Then we've also got some skill guys in Elijah Peters. Elijah's a blazer, man. Comes to speed. He's developed as a receiver as well and a defensive back. He's doing a great job for us this summer and getting his hands better as a receiver. And then, in the secondary, covering guys as well. Then we've also got DeAndre Mack. He'll be a junior there for us. Learning a lot. Still got a ways to go, but doing a great job for us. Did a great job in the spring. He'll be a contributor there on the defensive side and a little bit on the offense. Chavion Beecham is also a skill guy in the secondary who's really coming a long ways and doing a great job as a leader and kind of taking control of his group and being that guy that definitely stepping up there. And then the guy I think is going to be a workhorse for us on both sides of the ball is DJ Hunter.
Okay.
Very, very talented young man. He'll only be a sophomore, but he's definitely a young man that you can build a program around. And got a great attitude, always willing to go the extra mile and do what I or any of the other coaches ask him to do. And he's definitely developing in the weight room as well, getting better with his form and technique in there. And then out on the field, he's definitely developing better as a passer for us. And he's a strong kid, big kid. And the Lord has definitely blessed him with some abilities that not everyone has. And so, and then we'll have some other guys, Xavier, an O-line guy as well. Mason Smart is another guy. Mason Gill. So definitely a good group of nucleus of young men that I'm excited that I get an opportunity to coach. And they're my guys that will, lead Team 51 this year, starting our kickoff classic against East River.
I like that. Coach, you mentioned a defensive guy there that wasn't really big. When I think of Astronaut football, when I first began to cover Brevard County High School football I guess it was about 9 years ago now, I think of a guy by the name of Cam Okerman, who was 5'8", small guy, but man, he could tackle everything and anything in his way, and he just bled the Astronaut War Eagle. So I definitely, that's what I think of when I think of Astronaut football. Coach, congratulations again on getting married, and we'll look forward to coming up there for our camp previews when we do those here in a couple of weeks. And the final question for you is this: if you could sum up what your expectation is for this team, now I know it's year one, but what is your goal, your expectation for the program in year one?
Our goal for year one is, to go win the district. I know that sounds like a lofty goal, but if you don't have those kinds of goals, then, what are you out there for? And I know who's in our district, got a very talented group of teams in our district with Cocoa, Palm Bay, Titusville, and Space Coast there. And much improved in several areas there and some of those other schools that all aren't really up there at the top all the time. Coach Holmes has done a great job at Titusville, and Space Coast has improved. And then obviously Cocoa is Cocoa, and then Coach Burt coming back to Palm Bay.
Yeah,
is a big thing there too. So, it's to win the district. But for us, another thing that I want to see from our guys is guys going out there and competing for 4 quarters and playing all 4 quarters, and giving ourselves an opportunity to win the game in the 4th quarter. And putting a product out on the field that I and my staff and our players in our school and our community could be proud of. Guys who are going to go out there and play hard for 4 quarters, play till the end of the game, and guys who are going to lay it all on the line for their brother next to them and play hard, play fast, play physical. That's our big thing right now, and teaching that to those guys, into the weight room, in the classroom, and then out onto the field.
I like it. Coach Logan Hallock of the Astronaut War Eagles will be back here on Brevard Sports Network with the next head football coach here on the 2023 Coaches Show.